We want to thank you for taking the time to take the Uniquely You Spiritual Gifts and Personality Profiles. We believe that every believer should be plugged into the local church. We want to thank you for worshiping with us here at First Baptist Church, and our hope is that you have found a small group to get plugged into. The next step is to find a place to serve, and we believe the Spiritual Gifts Profile and the Personality Profile combined will help you find just the right niche to serve here at First Baptist Church of Indian Rocks. I'm going to walk you through the booklet. This is what I ask of you. Answer the questions as best you can in an honest manner. Don't answer them as though you think a believer should answer or how you would like to be a certain personality. Just answer them honestly, and the two will come together and will find just the right fit for you. If you'll open your books up to the first page, and at the top of the page you'll say 9 Spiritual Gifts Profile. And we're going to close in on that top box, and you'll see that you're going to answer these questions with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 being almost always true, 4 often true, 3 sometimes true, a 2 is seldom true, and a 1 is almost never true. Again, answer the questions honestly. There is no right or no wrong answer. You can see from the arrow here as I'm writing this out that try not to use a 3 very often. If you have to use it on a few, it's okay. But we want you to answer more often true, seldom true, almost always true, or almost never true. Now I want to take this page, flip it over, and you're going to see a dotted line. So I'm going to circle this, just kind of catch the page number here, and draw a highlighted line. This is the folding line. We want to take this page and we want to fold it on the dotted line. They can fold it and just kind of press it. I'm going to flip it around and fold it right there on that dotted line. And this is where we want to start. You want to see question 1. You'll see at the top that is going to say 9 spiritual at the top, and then you'll see the scoring graph over to the right side. Let's move on to answering the questions. Remember to answer questions honestly, and if you don't understand a question, that's okay. Just kind of work your way through it as best you know how. We're starting with number 1, and that first one will take us down 25 questions. Again, answering as honest as you can. And I'll take, now we can go right across to the numerical ratings graph, and you'll see a number 1, a number 2, a 3, 4, all the way up to 108 because there are 108 questions. And you're going to simply just transfer your answer numbers over to the graph, as you can see I'm doing here. The next move is simple. Just simply fold the page back one time. Now you'll see at the top of it, you'll see the word profile. And we're going to do the same, starting with number 26. Answering honestly, best you know how, going right down the chart. I've finished that page. That took us to number 48, and I'm simply filling out the graph. You'll do the same for the next pages. So I'm going to simply take the page and I'm going to fold it back the reverse way. And now we're going to pick up with question number 49. Again, answering honestly, best you know how, avoiding 3s if possible. Now I'm going to pick up and answer questions 80 through 108. Simply coming over and finishing out the chart. You will see this. At the bottom of this, you'll see the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. You'll notice that I'm going down the vertical columns. I'm giving my totals of those numbers. I'm circling them here for you. Now I'm going to take what was in A and circle it in the graph here to the left, and in graph B, and then I'm going to take my totals in C, and so on. As you'll see, I go across the page here, just taking the numbers from the graph that you've totaled up at the bottom. You'll see at the top of my page here, the letters are right above it. And I come down to two pretty high numbers, and I've highlighted those. I'm just going to run up the highlighter here, showing mercy and giving is what we have here, showing mercy and giving. Those are most likely your two spiritual gifts. I want you to notice on your graph, you may have one spiritual gift that stands out, or you may have several. And I want to reiterate that having one spiritual gift is no less spiritual than having two or three spiritual gifts. It's just how the Holy Spirit chose to give to us for a purpose in our life and a place of serving in the local church. Let's move on now to taking the personality profile. I want you to turn to page 9. You'll see next to the 9 there at the bottom, it looks like there are 96 questions in the profile. It's really not 96 questions, it's really only 24 questions. They're in small blocks. I'm going to highlight a couple of the boxes here. And actually what looks like questions 1 through 4 is actually just one answer. And there's another box, 5 through 8, and that becomes number 2. So there's an M and an L. M stands for most. I am most like, out of these 4, what am I most like? And the L is for what am I least like? So for me, this one I put I'm more kind, nice, and caring, and I'm least like demanding and asserting. I would do the same for the next block. Most like gentle, soft, humble, least like firm and strong. So I do the whole page, and then I'm all filled out, and I turn to the next page. You'll notice the little block again, and here in this little block there's the M and the L, and out in the middle there's an M and L. So I look where I put my X's, and one of those X's, let's go over, let's do the most, and the most is going to be the letter S. I'm going to draw an arrow to that because you can see up by where my X is, it's right next to a letter S. And in the least column, I had a D. I will do this for the entire 24. Then I'll go to page 10. And on page 10 is my scoring box. I have a most and a least, and I add it up. The D, the I's, the S's, and the C's, and the B's, and now I'm filling them in. I had for example, 2 D's and 12 D's in the least. I add all those up. They will all equal 24 on each, and I turn over to page 12. And page 12 is where I'm going to plot it. You'll notice near the top left of page 12, it's a place with the little DISC, and I'm going to fill in my numbers. Don't worry about the B's. And again, there they are, the 4 numbers. There's a most like and a least like. I'm going to draw a little arrow. Here's your graphs next to it on page 12. And I simply plotted. Here's my most graph with the DISC. I fill them in. I'm highlighting them for you. And then over here in the least column, I've added my numbers. And don't worry about what the numbers are. They don't really mean anything. It's more what the graph looks like. And you can see in both, in graph 1 and graph 2, I'm an S. I'm a steady personality. The graph on the left, the one with the M, is how others see me. And the graph on the right with the L is how I see myself. You'll notice in my charts this time, I pretty much see myself as others. This is how you do it. We will look at in the next week how to unfold all this and see how it all best fits for you to find your place to get plugged in here at Indian Rocks. If you have any questions, you can email us here at Indian Rocks. Just simply go to the website IndianRocks with an S at the end of it .org, and you can contact us through the website. Thank you so much.